Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from the SK2A and I am Nur Afrika binti Muhammad Isa as a moderator for today.
And hi, my name is Siti Fahana binti Somcik and I am as a panel 1.
Hi, my name is Umun Nabiha binti Harmizi and I as the panel 2.
Hi, my name is Hanani binti Muhammad Bukhari and I as an audience.
So today we are going to discuss about the light communication issue of secretary and how to solve this issue. So let us begin with point number 1 from Siti Fahana binti Somcik as a panel number 1.
Okay, thanks to our moderator. So today, my point 1 is clear communication. As any administrative assistant can tell you, clear communication is this position's most essential component. After all, almost every task you do relate to written or verbal correspondence. If your communication skill could use some work, try taking a writing or literature class to hone your ability to communicate clearly on paper or on the computer screen. Improvisational acting classes can also help you express thought verbally and think on your feet. And then the point 2 is be honest when you communicate. No matter what happens, try to be honest with the person with whom you are communicating. This will help the person trust you and feel that you will be helpful. Speak your truth as much as you are able, with clarity, love, and gentleness. When a secretary checks, maybe your boss will not believe you anymore. And the risk is also high because the secretary may be fired. And last but not least, my last point is do not repeat what you have already said. When you are communicating effectively, you should only be adding to the conversation what is new and relevant. Think about what you have already said and try not to repeat it, as this can make it seem as though you do not believe the other person is capable of listening. It is because when the secretary says the same thing, their boss will get bored. So that's all the solution that I just gave. Thanks for lending me your ears.
Thank you, Ms. Farhana, for the elaboration. So, for the next point, I would like to hear from our panel 2, Ms. Umun Nabiha binti Harmizi.
Thank you again for Ms. Siti Fahana and moderator Ms. Nur Afrika. So I want to introduce myself again. My name is Umun Nabiha binti Harmizi and I as the second panel. My first point is think about what you need to say. If you need a moment or two to think about something before responding to another person, you can let the person know this. In most cases, the person will be happy that you spend the time thinking as opposed to just rattling off any answer that comes into your mind. If you feel it might take more than a few minutes to think about what you need to say, then ask if you can call back with an answer. Make it simple and clear to that person. Focus on the person that you want to talk. Focus on the person even a person is being less than kind to you. Try to find something positive about her or him so that you can stay focused on helping the person and addressing the concerns. Focus on the other person. No matter what else is going on, always keep your focus on the other person that you are speaking to. If this means that you need to tell that person that you need to remove some distraction before you continue your conversation, be clear about this. Always bring your focus back to the other person. My last point is need to be proficient in various languages, especially English. As the language is important for communication, it is recommended that the secretaries should be proficient in the use of language, especially English. English is an international language that is used as the main medium for people from all over the world to interact with each other. To make it easier for us to communicate with clients, we need to know English so that we can communicate well. I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Ms. Umul Nabiha, for such a great point. So next, we are gladly to hear some questions from our audience.
Thank you, Ms. Afika. So for the first person, I would like to ask Siti Farhana, our panel one. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being poor and 10 excellent, how would you rate yourself as a communicator?
Okay, thank you to our audience, Hanani. My answer is, I give it a 9. When I read something like, communication is the life source of relationship as water is to fish, I agree. If communication suffers, so will the relationship. I know I have been there and see it in others' struggle to meaningfully connect.
Thank you for the answers. For the second answers, the digital age has brought many new ways to communicate, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. How has communication changed? What is helpful?
Okay, my answer is myself a 9 from where I used to be. On the whole, I rate myself at an 8. I want to honor the time and effort I devote to improving my communication skills.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to ask the last question is, based on what you have learned about communication, what advice do you offer to the people?
My answer is effective communication skills are key for success as an employee, a leader, parent, lover, or friend. To communicate effectively, number 1, speak with honesty, truthfulness, and kindness. Second, listen attentively and non-judgmentally.
Thank you for the great answers, Ms. Farhana, our panel one. And
You're
I
welcome.
would like to ask our panel two, Ms. Umul Nabiha. Okay, so how do you define communication without using a dictionary?
Okay, my answer is communication is a combination of sending and receiving information. Communicating a message is sent with a combination of words, the tone of voice or body language. When we email or text, we are only communicating with words. When we talk on the phone, we communicate with only words and our tone of voice.
Thank you, Ms. Umul. I would like to ask you for the second question. What bugs you when it comes to communicate? Do you have a communication pet peeve?
Okay, thank you for your answer. Okay, my answer is blaming others, as in it is all your fault, which is seldom true. And those who pretend to listen while they are merely waiting to jump in with their own agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Umul Nabiha, for the great answers. And for the last questions is, what have been the biggest lessons you have learned from about communication?
Right. My answer is, first, seek to understand. Believing I am in charge of how I respond to others' message, no matter how mean-spirited, and counting my relationship blessings. That's all.
Thank you for the answers and for the great answers that you answered me. So can I add some communication skills that I know?
Sure, you can.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to add some communication skills. First is using Stephen Covey's classic line. He said, first, seek to understand. We must seek to understand what people wanted to say to us. And second is believing we were in charge of how we respond to others' messages, not matter how mean-spirited it is. That's it for the some communication skills that I know. Thank you for lending me your ears.
Thank you, panelists, for answering the question and such a great point of view. Now, it's time to end our discussion. Communication may separate because of numerous corresponding boundaries that might be attributed to the sender of beneficiary. In this way, effective communication requires experiences with the barriers. Choosing the correct channel for communication is likewise significant because choosing an inappropriate medium undermines the message. As a secretary, set time to proofread and make essential edits to ensure the written communication is proficient and put emphasis on your message as precisely as could be expected under the circumstances. Besides, secretary must utilize proper language and spelling like explain word and guarantee appropriate spelling and punctuation. Secretaries also must be considerate the feeling of individual you are speaking with, so you can be more readily recognize their requirements and concern. A secretary also be able to adopt correct style in communicating with other person to lessen the effect of conflict and maintain healthy interpersonal relationship. Next, a secretary need to speaking with clarity, such as consider what they have to state. Don't rehash what previously said, and consider what they definitely will make the conversation to be reliably and effectively understood. Lastly, a secretary need to know how to talk to anyone like, be straightforward, focus on the person positive, and be willing to be wrong, make the communication much easier. So, that's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.